Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are gonna dehydrate some rice and I'm gonna show you how to make a better version of a ready-made rice sachet that are ready to eat in an instant, okay? It might come to a surprise to you guys, but I was always under the assumption that those little sachets were an instant rice, like they are pretty much with some instant cup of pasta things when you just put some hot water in and they hydrate. Well, guess what? They are not. It still takes, in this instance, 18 to 20 minutes to boil the sachet. So, comes to think, well, it's only 28 pence, it's cheap enough. However, I can buy a kilo of rice for 52p. So why on earth would I pay somebody 28 pence for such a little amount, considering I still have to boil this for a very long time? As you know, guys, if you follow the channel, you know that one of my main aims for this year preparedness plan is to make sure that my household is a little bit more ready for a grid down situation. As a prepper, I have obviously a lot of rice and pastas. However, in the grid down situation where the electricity is scarce and of course we have the resources of the backup cooking, boiling a rice for 18 to 20 minutes is not quite energy efficient. And yes, guys, normal days now, it's absolutely fine. We have no issues with electricity. However, if the grid is down, you no idea when it's going to come back. It's quite a lot of energy wasted on boiling a little bit of rice. So hence is my idea, guys, of actually dehydrating rice. If you asked me that question like 3 years ago and somebody said, oh my God, I just boiled and I dehydrated some rice, I'd be, are you crazy? Why on earth would you want to do that? Well, this is exactly the point, guys. 18 to 20 minutes when you boil this raw, or just a couple of minutes, guys, or just hot water to rehydrate the rice you actually dehydrated in your dehydrator. And you'd be actually surprised, guys, that if you do run your dehydrator quite full, it is actually quite cost effective. So my point to you is, right, 28 pence for the sachet, 26 whatever I said, sorry. It has 85% of rice, okay, 7% dried vegetables, so peas, carrots and onions. You've got some maltodextrin, you've got flavorings, salt, palm oil, onion powder, ground turmeric, dried garlic and color, which is paprika extract. And that's that. This is super simple. We can do better than that and we can do healthier than that. We certainly don't need the palm oil in our rice. Anyway, so without further ado, guys, all we're going to do is we're going to boil some rice. And in this instance, I have a failed vacuum bag of 2 kilos of rice. This is where it's really important to make sure you go through your pantry and you make sure that you keep an eye on your rice, especially if it's a vacuum packed. Seals do fail, unfortunately. I think this one's been sitting for about a year and a half. And yes, unfortunately has failed. That means the air's getting in that. And if air can get in there, bugs can get in there too. So this is the first one to go out of my pantry. So a perfect starting point to dehydrate my rice. So what we're going to do, obviously, guys, you rinse the rice many times to make sure we get as much starch as possible. We're going to boil this and we're going to rinse it a few times as well, just to make sure that the water runs clear and we literally got rid of as much starch as possible, because we want it not to be so sticky when we dehydrate it. So I'm not going to take you through step by step how to boil rice, but I'm just going to boil some rice and I shall see you in 20 minutes. So here we are, guys. This is our 2 kilos of rice in the 2 big bowls, okay? Been washed, they've been boiled and they've been rinsed and rinsed again. I've boiled my rice with the bay leaf, okay, just to give us just that a little bit of flavor. You can add on some salt if you want to, guys, totally optional. You can add on a stock cube if you wanted to literally for the rice to change color. However, because they do have quite a bit of fat in there, I feel that potentially could affect the longevity of your rice. If you're just doing this for a hiking trip or something, absolutely fine, even better. Add on the stock cube, boil this with this, it'll soak in all this sort of flavor in there. However, for us, for the long term, and considering what I'm intending to do with that, just the bay leaf will do just fine. For all of you wondering what kind of rice this was, this is just a bulk standard 52p rice. I don't choose to buy the basmati rice or anything else. They're just that much more dearer, and I think if something that you really want to stockpile, it just saves you quite a bit of money, to be fair, buying the basic rice. So it's personal choice. You can do this with the basmati rice if you want. So anyway, so next thing is, guys, I've got my Excalibur here. I've got some very unironed kitchen towels here, very clean, obviously very clean hands as well. And I like to do this on the towels because rice is quite moist, okay, because it's just been boiled as well, and it's probably slightly a bit warm as well. When we put it down on the tray, okay, it's just going to be condensation going to the worktop, which I don't want. We're going to catch this with a towel. I'm choosing, guys, not to use any liners on the dehydrator sheets. I've got some silicone ones, but it just takes that extra long time to dry because the air can't circulate through underneath. The same thing goes for the parchment paper. Again, for some of you who have the stackable dehydrators, you would have to use a parchment paper, but I do maybe suggest just poke some holes with it with a fork or something, because it does hinder the drying process for quite a while. Although afterwards, it's like when you come to take this out, it's going to become a bit like a falling snow through the holes. But I much rather this and actually save my couple of hours on the dehydrating time. Okay. So anyway, the next thing is, guys, you've got your rice, we've got our trays, and it's literally simple as pile it in. Okay. It's somewhat will be sticking together. But don't worry, when it dehydrates, guys, it's so easy to uncrumble. So let's give that a go and see. Obviously, do make sure your hands are clean. And don't be scared of piling it in. You know, everybody says, oh, make sure your vegetables don't touch. Don't make sure this and that. Well, if they don't touch, right, you'll be just putting like 1 kilo in a whole dehydrator. Ram it in, and then you move stuff around as it dehydrates. Things shrink a bit. And even rice, it will shrink a teeny weeny bit. Not a huge bit, but it will, so... Okay, so let's put a teeny weeny bit more. So if you think, right, 2 kilos, guys, according to the guidelines, right, this gives you a 20 portions of 100 grams rice, okay? This will be having it alongside of something else anyway. So we'll do that. So it's quite a lot if you think 20 portions, all right? Sorry if I put that out of the way. Hopefully you get to see that. So yeah, 20 portions for something that will be dehydrating for approximately 6 hours. It's not bad. It's only going to cost us 17p in my instance anyway, so which is good. Right. Make sure you do. I found myself, to be fair, guys, every time initially when I started dehydrating, I leave the edging bits like about an inch off, and I'm like, why? We're wasting space. Let's just come to the end as, you know, as much as possible. So, okay, spread this round. Messy job. Handy to have towel, and in they go. Look, here we go. See, loaded tray. Again, as I mentioned, it will stick together a little bit. It's not a big deal. Okay. I don't know how many trays we'll end up having, but if possible, if there's any spare, then I wouldn't put one on the top, because the top and the really bottom shelf are the last ones to go, although we're going to be rotating it anyway, okay? So, right. So let me continue with the rest, guys. So guys, messy job is done. This is the last one, okay? So you can see I've got 2 trays at the bottom that are free, so you could spread this around a bit thinner if you wanted to, but it gives you a good idea, guys. If you do have one of those dehydrators, you will know now that you can pretty much fit 2 kilos in there spot on without ramming it up too much, especially on the left shelf like I did. However, it goes up there, and there we are. It is messy, okay? It's literally rice everywhere, but it's okay. It's all for the good cause, okay? So next thing is, obviously, I'm gonna get the lid on, and we're gonna plug it in. I'm gonna put it on. I did dehydrate the previous one at 74 Celsius, which is 165, which is the maximum temperature. I found this dehydrates that much faster. In this instance, because it's getting late, I'm going to put this on. It's going to dehydrate overnight, guys, and I shall see you tomorrow, and we'll see how much we have, and then we're going to weigh that as well, and then I'm going to share with you what we're going to add on to it to make it super nice and tasty. So see you then. So guys, the rice is now dehydrated, so let's have a look. Okay, it is going to be a messy job, guys, especially, I said, because we're not been using the silicone trays or the parchment paper, so as soon as you start moving this, the rice ends up going everywhere. But make sure you put something underneath that to catch the rice. Normally I have some ugly tray, kitchen tray type baking tray, just to catch in with a parchment, so you can just put this into your container, but it's kind of ugly, not really camera friendly. So let's basically have a look, guys. So okay, it's all dried. I have moved this about as you do, and there we are. Look, this is what we have. It has shrunk in size, obviously, like anything else when you dehydrate this, and it's pretty much gone to original rice size, pretty much. So anyway, so yeah, this is what we have. Okay, so normally how I do this, guys, is I said I've got the tray underneath, I've got a big bowl here, okay, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna pick it up and put it there. Right. And it literally, make sure your worktops are disinfected, okay? So, as you can see, guys, right, the rice does stick into little pieces. However, with a slight crumble, okay, it just literally, it's so dry, and this is, you have to make sure that it stays 100% dry, okay? It's just crumbles in your hand, which is really good. So let's get the rest of them out. So guys, here we are, all of the rice is in. Obviously make sure you do get the big bowl. Alternatively, if you're putting this in a jar right away, then obviously you can just use your hands, break it up and put it straight in the jar. Okay, I'm just gonna break it up a little bit. As you can see, you'll find out, guys, it is super easy to come apart. Okay, it's not a big deal if you leave it like that, but it just makes it easy when it comes to rehydration. Okay, so right, and now quite interesting to actually see what the final weight is. Right, so right, the bowl was measured weight, sorry, at 630 grams. So right, and we had 2 kilos of rice went in there, so grams, weigh that, it's, let's call it 2200, so it's 2.2 kilos, so then make it 15, 30, 1.5 kilograms and 30 grams of rice. So you can see it's lost a little bit of weight during the dehydration process, but not too far out. So there we are. So next thing, guys, all right, let's actually have a look how we're going to make this rice into basically what they have in a sachets, but already dehydrated with extra sort of nice flavors, really. So let me get this cleared up. I'll put the dehydrator kind of out of the way a little bit, and let's make some jars ready to consume. So we are now ready. I've got some jars there just to demonstrate the mixtures, guys, you can do. This is the Asda's mixture, the one I showed you in the beginning, the one that's got obviously the onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of vegetables. It's not a lot of veggies there, to be fair, whatsoever. I can just see about 4 or 5 peas and about 5 or 6 little carrots, okay? I've got some dehydrated peas, however, I found that they're not suitable for rehydration just with the hot water. They do require a little bit of boiling, so I'm not going to make any of my rice to include those peas, because it's not the idea of this exercise, basically. So the next thing is, guys, I've got 3 jars here, and I'm going to show you, I think, the 3 mixtures that I'm going to make to put away. Again, I'm using the clear jars so you just get a better idea. It is a very good idea to keep them in the jars if you've got them, because you just open it up, put some hot water, ready to go. However, you will need a lot of jars, and I'm gonna do some in the jars, but majority end up going in the little Mylar bags in portions. So anyway, as I mentioned, the sachet was 120 grams all in. So let's get the jug in and let's measure up ourselves 100 grams of rice. It will help if I broke it up fully initially. So that would be probably 2 little spoons. Almost. Okay. A little bit more. Okay. Right. So we've got our 100 grams of rice. So let's go with that. Get that in the jar. Do this above here. Here we go. Right. So this is our rice, which it takes just under half the jar, okay? So put that aside. So as I gauge by the taste, guys, and by the coloring, okay, that you're familiar with that, or many of you familiar with that, from the Polish seasoning from Lidl. And I know I've been always harping on about when they have this, buy this. It was £2 a kilo, it is 1 kilo, but I managed to pick them up at some point at 50p when they were clearing them off. It is absolute bargain. It does have a lot of salt. It has 59% content of salt, and the rest are mixed spices, okay? But to me, that kind of indicates, if you have a look side by side color-wise, it is very close, and flavor-wise really close as well. So if you're just doing this, basically just want to stock a basic rice, then this is kind of ideal. You put a couple of spoons in that and it's ready to go. So let's do that. Okay, you have to obviously know what that tastes like in terms of flavor, but because of the salt content. I will put, sorry, a 1 spoon there, not 2 spoons, because that'll be far too much for that. Okay, just actually level-headed one, okay? Wash this in there. Okay, and again, as I said, you can leave this at that. I'm not. I'm gonna add on vegetables. So, again, I've mentioned before, guys, the dehydrated vegetables, the ones that are grated in finer pieces, will rehydrate with water very, very easily. So, let's put a good dollop of vegetables. Again, because they're really, really dry, again, they'll last indefinitely, so get them in a jar. Okay, with the lid, give it a bit of a shake up. It doesn't matter if it's not mixed all together in the jar. When you come to rehydrate it, just mix it up. Okay, so there we are, guys. Okay, this is like super simple. Okay, and we're talking, this is rice as rice for a side dish, obviously with anything else. So to me, we have a good proportion of vegetables and rice in there. So that'll be a jar number 1. So let's put the wrong lid on it. Get this out of the way. Okay, next thing, get that out. Again, the possibilities are endless. So first one. Next one, let's get us, mind you, I don't really just measure that, do I? Because I just go by half the jar, approximately. One more. Okay, so approximately the same amount. So next thing, okay, I have some tomato powder and we have some red peppers. So again, tomato and peppers go really, really well. So because the peppers are quite chunky, I just get a couple of those in there. Okay. And we'll wash some tomato powder in there. Okay. Very simple, guys, but will be very, very effective. Lid on. Shake up. Okay. And again, you can add on salt if you want to. It's a personal choice. Okay, so we've got tomato and pepper rice. Right. Okay, next one. Okay, I've got some mushrooms and I have some dehydrated onions. I've got the dehydrated white ones and I've got the red ones. Again, it's totally up to you what you have. And I also have my favorite Knorr little soups. Okay, they are cream of mushroom, this one, okay? And because we've got some extra mushrooms, it could work really well. Again, because I'm gonna hydrate this, guys, this will become more like a risotto rice, but because it's a creamy kind of sauce, it will make it more into risotto type rice. So again, let's fill our jar. Okay. Thereabouts, we have it. Let's plonk a couple of mushrooms in there. Mushrooms rehydrate really, really well in water. Some of them in there. And I think I might put a little bit of onion. You can do it like what you want, guys. It's so simple. And because all those ingredients are keeping well long term by themselves, they will keep well together if you choose to do that together. And I think we'll put in a little bit of our soup mixture. It's going to be really mushroomy. I'll put a couple in there, okay? Mix up. Okay, there we are, guys. So there we have that, like 3 basic options. Again, as I said, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And this is why I think it's really important that if you do have a dehydrator, dehydrate the whole variety of different vegetables, because you could just adjust this to your taste. It's whatever you like or you don't like, you can add on to your rice. And it just makes the whole idea is like, this can sit in the shelf, guys. The same amount is my dehydrated vegetables. It will sit there, especially if you put the oxygen absorber in it, it will sit there for months and years for long-term storage. So if we are coming to the Shtf situation, then you easily take this out, put the water in there, don't need to worry about the container, and you're ready to go. At the same time, those things are great if you're going camping, if you're going trekking, backpacking, anything. It's lightweight, it's pretty much done, and it's a great thing to have. And you can make this also super nutritious. You know, I've been dehydrating a lot of spinach, okay, and it's super healthy for you. You can actually add it onto your rice as well. Yes, it's going to make color look a bit funky, especially when it's rehydrated, but it is what it is. And you can literally pack a punch, pack so much goodness into your prepared meals. So let me guys just put this slightly bit aside. Let's get a kettle and I'll show you what one of those look like when it's hydrated. So guys, the kettle has just boiled, so let's do a vegetable rice. I'm not going to do all of them, guys. I just wanted to demonstrate to you how actually quickly it is to rehydrate the rice. So, boiled water. Okay, you can see it's changing the color from that salt. We cover it up. Make sure it's covered. Give it a mix up. Okay, put the lid on. Okay, and we're just going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. So guys, in a minute, just make sure you do mix it up again, okay? It's a bit like pot noodle, just to make sure as the rice expands, just make sure that the top layer, it's also covered in, okay? So give it just mix up. Okay, and just put the lid on again. Just wait for another minute or so. So guys, it should be done. So it does take approximately 3 minutes, okay? The jar keeps it still hot, and you can see, okay, it's expanded quite a bit, okay? And all the vegetables rehydrated, it's all looking very good. So what I'm gonna do, I've got my bowl here, and put those aside. I'm gonna put this in a bowl and I'll zoom in for you so you can have a look. It's absorbed all the water, okay? And it works with this size jar. Again, whatever jar or container, guys, you use, you just have to work out the proportions of water you will need to make sure you don't have any spare water left. If you do have spare water left, it's not a big deal, just strain it. It's just, in this instance, a lot of flavour is in, or would have been in that water, okay? So there we have it. And this is what that looks like, okay? You can see it's fully hydrated. There's loads of veg in here, okay, look. It's brilliant. So yes, guys, this is as simple as that. And the point is, excuse me, the point is actually going to taste so much better than the thing that you get in a packet. And don't you say, it just looks so fresh. That's the whole thing again with the vegetables. I know when they're dry, guys, they really look particularly unappealing. However, when you rehydrate them, you can see, because we blanched the carrots and blanched all the vegetables, when you rehydrate the back, they actually get their color to what they were before we dehydrated them, so which makes it look really nice and healthy. So there you have it, guys. All right, so I do hope you found this at all helpful. For all of you like myself, if you ever wondered why on earth we need to dehydrate rice, well, guys, in this instance you can see with the 100-gram portions there out of 2 kilos, we'll give or take, also now it's 1500, but we'll get ourselves a good 15-16 portions out of that. And to be able just to keep them, as I said, you can keep them in a jar absolutely fine. You don't even need to put the oxygen absorber if you're going to be using this within like 6 months to a year. If anything longer, then yes, put the oxygen absorber in. I'm going to be, as I said, I'm going to do a few of those purely for the lack of jars, and the rest are going to go in a milo bag. So there we are. So anyway, guys, I do hope that you really found this helpful. If you did, please don't forget to thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, and I shall see you on the next exciting video. Bye bye.